What up? My name is Duncan. This channel is that's better. This channel is detailed learning or something like that. Uh, I just wanted to hop on and talk about my experience so far. So I'm like 4 hours in, and I have learned the scales. I shouldn't say the scales. I learned the major scale, the minor scale, the major chords, the minor chords, sus2 and sus4, just because I was interested in sus2 and sus4, getting my fingers around that. And I've started to hammer out like melodies to simple songs like Amazing Grace. And just a reminder, I'm a complete beginner. Like, I sing, but I've never played the piano seriously other than doodling around. So 4 hours in, that's my progress. And here's a couple of things that I'm learning. Number one is that the camera's over here, right? Number one, the number one thing that I'm learning is elbow, not finger. What do I mean by that? So elbow is what's getting me into position to be able to correctly hit my notes. Finger placement is secondary to elbow placement. And so I am starting to think about pivot points in my hands. And maybe I'll put some B-roll, maybe I won't. I don't know how high tech I'm gonna be. But the difference between like a linear instrument like a piano or even a little bit of a guitar, right? You have 4 parallel strings on a guitar, 4, that's a bass. A certain amount, 6 parallel strings on a guitar. So there's like a linear feeling to playing a guitar or playing the piano. What I'm finding on the Harpejji is that it is not linear, right? Because you have choices, and that leads me to 2 things. So elbow placement is really important to get my fingers into place. Finger placement counts, but to get my fingers into place, I have to have my elbow placement right. And so I think I'm going to, as I think about where I am in a scale, I'm gonna think about, okay, here's the middle of the scale. Both my elbows need to be wide open if I'm playing both scales in both hands. All right, I'm coming to the turn. And what I mean by the turn is after the first 4 set of notes in a scale, the plane changes up or down, depending on if you're ascending or descending the scale. And so to be able to make that smoothly, my elbow needs to be in position for that pivot up or pivot down. And that's if I'm using, I'm including my thumb. And that brings me to my next point. I've been struggling to figure out what fingerings I'm gonna use because that's the beauty of the Harpejji, is that you can reach the same chords, the same scales in a multitude of different ways. And that's the beauty of it, but it's also the dauntingness of it, the struggle of it. I gotta get my finger out of the way. That's the struggle of it. The struggle of it is that when I go to do something spur of the moment, when I go to reach for something because I hear something and I want to recreate it in the moment, I have way too many choices. And so that brings me to a choice as I'm learning. I could learn to do it one way and that be the only way I do it, and then it's hammered in. Or I could learn all the ways that are practical. And if I do that, that offers me versatility to be able to reach for any of those when I need them, right? And so it's a harder learning process, but I'm hoping that it's an easier playing process if I internalize all the ways to do a scale, all the ways to hit a chord, right? What I'm finding, like when I was trying to go from sus2 to sus4 to root chord, right? Major, is what I meant. When I try to do all of that, like to transition just to have like some inner movement in a chord, it's hard if I'm not bunched my fingers in the right way, if that makes sense. And so I think I need to be able to have all those options. There's this video of Kyrie Irving, right? Basketball player, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So, and he's one of the best dribblers. Ball handlers would probably be a better word. Yep, ball handlers. He's one of the best ball handlers to ever play the game. And he talks about how he wants to make art. And so he trains himself to be ready for every occurrence, to be able to finish off the dribble, to shoot off the dribble, to pass off the dribble, to dribble off the dribble, with options. And that's very different from someone like Steph Curry, who's an amazing three-point shooter, amazing, an amazing dribbler, ball handler. But you can tell that Curry has moves and counter moves, right? So if you do this, then I'll do this. If you do this, then I'll do this. And that's it. He's rote. Kyrie Irving has worked himself to not respond in a rote manner, but to be able to create in the moment. That's what I want. I want to be able to create. So that's what I've had for the first 4 hours. Maybe there'll be some B-roll in here. Maybe this just sounds weird and looks like I'm lazy because I didn't do it. But I wanted to check in with you guys and give you an update. Deuces. Peace. 2 up, 2 down. VA. Let's go.